afternoon to one and all present here. Our guest speaker, Dr. Mukesh Kirar sir, HODs, faculty members, and participants. A very warm welcome to all on behalf of Electrical Engineering Department, DIT Lucknow, organizing committee, and my own behalf for accepting our invitation. I wish this session fruitful for us. I warmly welcome all of you again. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you, Archana and Dr. Anurag Dwivedi for a great introduction. So I'm not wasting time and going to start my lecture. Wait for a minute. Is PPT is visible to all?
Visible.
Okay,
Yes.
so very good afternoon to all of you. I'm Dr. Mukesh Kirar, Assistant Professor in the Department of Electrical Engineering, MANET Bhopal. And I'm going to deliver a lecture on artificial neural network based load setting technique for industrial power system with cogeneration. So as I know that this workshop is basically giving knowledge about the artificial intelligence techniques and their applications. Okay, so I'm also here will deliver lecture on the application of artificial intelligence techniques. So basically, I have selected this topic to present practical knowledge how we can implement the artificial intelligence technique in power system. Okay, or you can say that the application of ANN in industrial power system. Okay, so this topic basically I have selected to design load setting technique and implement this load setting technique with the help of ANN in industrial power system. So we start from the introduction. So we all know that the electrical power we cannot save electrical energy in much extent. So we have to generate electrical power in a real time, and we have to distribute it, and we have to manage it. Okay, so we cannot store electrical energy. So as and when the load will change or there is a change in generation, there will be problem for the system. Okay, so we know that the power shortage, especially during the summer, has come up as a very serious issues for industrial customer. Okay, actually we know that in our country there is a problem of mismatch of load and generation. We have larger demand, but we do not have that much of generation. So due to that, there is a power cut. We all of us are very much familiar with this word. Okay, power cut or load shedding. Okay, so the industrial customer, what they do, they install their own generation. Okay, so that is called cogeneration, and the cogeneration is very much possible in the industries which are related to, you can say that the process plant, like hydrocarbon refineries, they have their own steam generation plant. Okay, so they have to generate steam for the process. Okay, so at the same time that steam can be utilized for generation of electrical power. So when we use a single source of energy for two purpose, like steam we are using for the process plant, and we also using that steam for power generation. So this type of generation is called cogeneration. Okay, so to assure the quality and reliability of electrical power supply, the cogeneration system has been considered by these process industries in India and abroad. Process industries like petrochemical, fertilizer, hydrocarbon refineries, they all require steam as well as electrical power. Okay, so here that power generation, or you can say that the cogeneration is very much possible. Okay, so a cogeneration system is broadly defined as the coincident or simultaneous generation of combined heat and power. Heat means we can say that the steam for the process, and power, electrical power. So to achieve better efficiency of energy uses and enhance the power system reliability. Actually, when we generate our own power for the load, suppose industry have their own generation, so the reliability of their supply will improve. Okay, and they will not totally depend on the grid for their electrical power requirement. So that they can fulfill this type of requirement by their own generation. Okay, so the industrial system with cogeneration has to tie with the utility grid, because their generation may not be sufficient to supply their whole load, or their generation is excess than their own load. So in a both condition, they required connection with the utility grid, because if they have less amount of power generated, then they have to draw power from the utility grid, or if they have excess amount of power generation, they will interested to supply the power to the grid. In a both case, they have to tie their generation or their plant with the utility grid. So the both way of power flow will be possible. Okay, so the cogeneration system have the stability problem. Okay, actually when the generator, industrial generator, will be connected to the utility grid, they always have the problems. If there is any abnormal operating condition in the grid, that will affect the in-plant generation also, in-plant generator also. Suppose if there is a fault occurred in a utility grid, then in that condition, the fault will also affect the industrial generation also. Okay, so there is a serious issue. Okay, in case of the disturbance. So actually, there will be an issue of stability. Okay, we will see the classification of stability in the further slide. Okay, so there will be a frequency stability problem with the generator which is connected with the utility grid. Okay, so to whenever there is abnormal operating condition in utility grid, industrial plant has to separate it for this abnormal operating condition, because if we do not separate industrial plant from the grid, the plant generation and load will collapse. Because if there is a fault in a utility grid and we do not separate the industrial generation and load from the grid, the fault will collapse the industrial plant also. Okay, there will be instability in industrial system also, because the industrial plant having their own generation and load. So if they are separated from the utility grid, they will operate satisfactorily. Okay, with less or more amount of load and generation. Okay, so they have to separate it from the grid. This kind of separation is called islanding. This is a bird. I think all of you are familiar with this bird, islanding. Islanding is the separation of the system for abnormal operating condition. Okay, so after the separation from the utility grid, there may be unbalance between in-plant generation and the connected load of the industrial system. Okay, because the industrial system may have less amount of generation and more amount of the load. So in this case also, load is more than generation, then what will happen? If the load is more than generation, there will be a problem of frequency stability. Okay, the frequency will decrease. Okay, and at the same time, if there is an excess amount of generation and less amount of the load, then there will be a problem of over frequency. Okay, so in both case, in a less generation or in a more generation than load, the frequency stability problem will occur in an industrial system. Okay, so for that, the industrial system with cogeneration facility, load setting is considered as a primary protection requirement. Okay, because whenever there is a suppose there is a less amount of generation after islanding, the in-plant generation is less as compared to the connected load. And what will happen? Frequency will decrease. We know that in a power system, the relation of the performance parameter, like suppose if there is a change in voltage, okay, or you can say that अगर हम ज़्यादा अच्छे से relate करना चाहें, we can relate reactive power balance and voltage and active power balance and frequency. Okay, whenever there is a less amount of reactive power in the system, then there will be a problem of low voltage. Okay, if reactive power demand is more than reactive power generation, then the system voltage will reduce. Okay, whenever there is a large amount of reactive power injection in the system and less amount of the consumption of the reactive power in the system, there will be a problem of over voltage. Similarly, we can relate active power balance and frequency. Whenever there is a excess amount of generation, less amount of the load, then there will be a problem of over frequency. Okay, because we know that if active power increases in the system, more than active power is more than the load, then the system will have over frequency problem. If the system is having a greater amount of the load as compared to the generation, frequency will decrease. So in an industrial system with cogeneration means their own in-plant generation. Okay, if they are having their own generation and if they are separated from the industrial grid, or you can say that utility grid, then they have to match load and generation exactly equal. Otherwise, there will be a frequency stability problem. So to maintain the load and generation balance, they have to use load setting technique. Okay, so the load setting technique should be designed so as to provide better reliability and security at all level of power import. At all level of power import means suppose industrial plant is having their own generation, but that generation is not sufficient to supply their connected load. Then in this condition, they have to draw power from the utility grid. Okay, so the frequency deviation depends on the mismatch amount. Okay, so what is the difference between generation and connected load? The frequency stability depends on that. If there is a large amount of difference between generation and load, there will be a rapid frequency change. Okay, suppose if there is a greater amount of load connected but less amount of the generation, okay, then the frequency will decay very fast, and that can trip the frequency protection of the generator, that can reduce the output of the motors, because we know that frequency, the speed of the motor, suppose if we take example of induction motor, we know that the speed of induction motor depends on frequency and number of poles of the induction motor. So if frequency reduces, speed will reduce, and if speed reduces, output of the motor will reduce. So they have to maintain balance between load and generation. For that, they required a reliable load setting technique. Okay, so we know that the load setting techniques, I think you people have aware of that. Under frequency relays, okay, there are the relays which are used to protect the system from under frequency. Okay, and these relays also used to disconnect load whenever the frequency decrease from a particular value. Okay, but they are not accurate. Frequency under frequency relay based load setting is not accurate load setting, because this technique designed designed on the basis of worst operating scenario. Okay, for the maximum mismatch, we design frequency based load setting technique. Okay, and at for if there is a less amount of mismatch, the relay will disconnect the preset load from the system. So these relay based load setting techniques are not you can say that not accurate, not reliable. So for that, these artificial intelligence based techniques are more reliable and more accurate. We will see that in further slides, how these intelligent techniques are accurate as compared to relay based techniques. Okay, now before we will go for the discussion on the load setting technique, we have to know that the problems associated with the cogeneration. Okay, cogeneration means we are discussing for the plant, industrial plant which have their own generation. Okay, so the cogeneration system have two critical problem. Okay, islanding detection problem and load generation inequality problem. Okay, islanding problem detection problem means what? Suppose industrial system is interconnected with the utility grid. Okay, for fulfill their mismatch in load and generation. Okay, we have to interconnect industrial system with the grid. The industrial system with having their own generation, we have to connect it with the utility grid to balance their load generation. Okay, so but whenever there is a problem in a utility grid, suppose there is a fault in a utility grid, then due to we know that types of fault. Okay, so suppose there is a short circuit fault, we know that in a short circuit fault associated with the decrease in voltage, increase in current, okay, and decrease in frequency. Okay, so due to the fault, the system voltage will reduce, frequency will reduce, okay, and the current will increase if there is a fault in system, okay, in a utility grid. So industrial system will also contribute that fault current. So if the industrial system will not separate within a time, then the system will be unstable, okay, with the grid. As the grid will be unstable, the system will be industrial system will also be unstable. So to maintain stability in an industrial system, we have to separate it, and this separation is called islanding. Okay, so islanding detection is also an issue. How we can detect islanding? Because nobody can say that what type of fault is occurred in a grid, okay, without observing the parameter of the grid. Okay, so because grid is a very huge network, utility grid is a very huge network, and a number of generators are connected, many loads are connected. So we have to detect the condition for which we have to separate industrial system from the utility grid. Okay, that is called islanding detection. Okay, we can detect islanding on the basis of observation of different parameters like voltage, frequency, power flow direction, okay, and rate of change of frequency. Okay, suppose whenever there is a fault in a utility grid, definitely voltage will change, frequency will also change, because when fault occurred, there will be change in operating parameters. Okay, as we know that suppose a short circuit occurred in a utility grid, due to that short circuit, voltage and frequency of the system will change. Okay, voltage reduce hoga and frequency will also reduce and current will increase. So we can sense voltage, frequency and current, and on the basis of the sensed parameter, we can decide now we have to separate our industrial system with the grid, and that process is called islanding. Okay, After islanding means you have separated your industrial plant with the utility grid. Okay, now you have to manage your own generation and load. Okay, so you have to maintain load and generation balance. Okay, so if there is a unbalance between load and generation, then there will be a problem of frequency stability. Okay, so how we can maintain this load and generation equal? For that, we manage the generation or we manage the load. Okay, so in managing a generation is limited. Okay, suppose there is a one generator, we cannot generate electrical power more than their rating. Okay, more than the generator rating, we cannot generate power. Okay, so we for if there is a larger load connected with the system, we have to disconnect the load. Okay, so for that we require load shedding technique. Okay, now this is how typical industrial generation system is connected with the utility grid. Are you able to see this figure? Anyone?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay, so there is a figure in which you can see a DZ. You can say that this is a generator which is available in the industrial plant. Okay, there is a distribution system or transmission line, and there is a transformer connected between utility grid and DZ. Okay, so you can see here the type of protection provided for the industry utility tie line. Okay, so here we can see the various type of protections are provided. Suppose here you can see this 67 directional power, 51 over voltage, 27 under voltage, 81 O and U under over frequency relays, 32 directional relay. So these are the relays which will be used for the protection of the industrial generator, which is connected to the utility grid. So we have to sense the parameter of the system, and on the basis of the threshold value which we have decided, we have to disconnect the system whenever there is a abnormal operating condition in the grid. Okay, so the detection of loss of parallel operation, or you can say that the integration with the grid, islanding can be classified or can be differentiated as remote technique and local technique. Okay, the local technique further classified as a passive technique and active technique. Okay, basically the technique which is utilized in an industrial system are under over frequency, under over voltage, and rate of change of frequency. These are the three types of protection scheme which are basically utilized for islanding detection in industrial system. Now, how we can design load shedding? Okay, so the purpose of load shedding is to arrest the drop in frequency in order to maintain stable operation of islanded system. Okay, and it is essential that the portion of the load equal or greater than the generation deficit has to be separated automatically. Okay, the load shedding the purpose of the load shedding scheme is that the separation of the load which is access the amount of generation automatically. Okay, the system must be automatic, which disconnect the amount of the load which is greater than the generation. Okay, so the load shedding techniques we can classify it as conventional load shedding techniques, adaptive load shedding techniques, and computational intelligence based load shedding techniques. In a conventional load shedding technique, we can use the different types of load shedding technique like frequency based load shedding technique, breaker interlock load shedding technique. We can say that PLC based load setting technique. In adaptive load setting technique, we can use a DFIDT relay. Rate of change of frequency relay can be used to disconnect the load, and this scheme comes under the adaptive load setting scheme. Computational intelligence based load setting techniques are basically the technique which are adaptive and more reliable as compared to conventional technique. They adopt the change in the system automatically, because suppose if we talk about the under frequency relay based load setting technique, so we have to provide a setting in the relay for a particular case, and that will be constant, okay, irrespective of the operating scenario. The relay will detect the frequency and disconnect the load, okay. But in computational intelligence based load setting technique, it will be change the amount of load which will be disconnected on the basis of operation requirement or operating scenario. We will see, I have made this presentation according to the practical application. Now, the minimum value of frequency, okay, after islanding depends on the following factors. Actually, what happened whenever there is a fault in the system and we separated our system from the utility grid, now the factor which will affect the frequency of the islanded system, okay, actually we discussed that the frequency related to the active power balance, okay. There are other parameters also on which the frequency will depend, okay. The change of frequency will depend after the islanding. Total system load demand, okay, we know that the frequency variation is depending on the load generation balance. So obviously the demand will affect the variation of frequency. Total system power exchange to the grid. Before the islanding, how much power we are drawing from the grid also affect the frequency deviation after islanding. Total generation of the plant, obviously friction of spinning reserve, okay. Spinning reserve means the power which is reserved for sudden change in a load and generation or any operating condition, okay. So on that also the frequency deviation depends. Equivalent system inertia, that is very much related parameter, okay, because as we studied in our undergraduate course also, the frequency deviation or the frequency depends on the inertia of the generator, okay. Inertia of the generator, or you can say that the equivalent inertia of the system, in which we consider load inertia also. Load inertia means the inertia of rotating loads, okay. So the equivalent inertia will also affect the deviation of frequency. If there is a inertia is you can say that if the islanded plant have larger value of inertia, then the frequency deviation will be low, okay, inversely proportional. There is an inverse relation between frequency deviation and inertia, equivalent inertia of the system. Control setting of each running units, obviously generator setting also affect the variation of frequency. System configuration, time and duration to bring the spinning reserve, obviously. Type of load, either rotating or static. All these are the factors which will affect the deviation of frequency after islanding of the industrial system or generating system. Now I am going to discuss the conventional load setting techniques first one by one. Here you can see the diagram of under frequency, breaker interlock based load setting scheme. There you can see that there is a generation. Here you can see the STG is a generator. This is a utility grid. We have connected this industry STG with the utility grid. Okay, this is a circuit breaker which is normally closed. NC is a normally closed symbol. normally it is parallelly operate with the grid, and these are the loads. Okay, so whenever the requirement of the power is more than the in plant generation, the power will be drawn from the utility. Okay, so this type of load shedding technique is designed for the burst operating scenario. This is the breaker, main breaker, which is written here. The main breaker is interlocked with the load circuit breaker. Okay, so we know that the in-plant generation, suppose the in-plant generation is not sufficient to fulfill the requirement of the in-plant load. So as and when the utility grid is disconnected from the system, we have to separate some load. Okay, so we have interlinked the utility breaker and load circuit breaker. So whenever there is a change in status of this main breaker, the load will be disconnected. Suppose this circuit breaker is opened, main circuit breaker is opened, instantaneously the load circuit breaker 1 will be disconnected from the system. So this is how the load and generation will be balanced. But this technique is designed for fixed amount of the load shedding irrespective of the load generation balance. Okay, if suppose for any operating condition there is no requirement of load generation, load shedding, but these load circuit breakers are interconnected with the utility circuit breaker. Whenever this circuit breaker will be disconnected, automatically the load circuit breakers will be disconnected. ओके, तो इससे फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा कि रिक्वायरमेंट है या नहीं है. These load will be automatically disconnected whenever the utility grid breaker is disconnected. So in this case, always there will be a greater amount of load will be disconnected. Okay, so this load setting is not appropriate. Now in this next slide, you can see the under frequency relay based load setting. In this particular case, 81 is showing this 81 is a symbol of frequency relay. Okay, so we set the frequency relay for a particular value of frequency. Suppose the normal operating frequency of the system is 49.5 hertz. Okay, so whenever the frequency goes below 49.5 hertz, these relay will issue a trip signal to the load breakers. Okay, and the load breaker will be disconnected and the load generation will be balanced. Okay, so the setting of these frequency relays are determined for the worst operating scenario. Okay, because we do not want that our system will unstable. Okay, so we perform the system analysis and we determine the setting of the frequency relay and the amount of load which should be disconnected for the worst operating scenario. So in this case also the more amount of the load will be disconnected. क्यों? क्योंकि हमने इनकी जो सेटिंग किया वो वर्स्ट ऑपरेटिंग सिनेरियो के लिए किया है, मतलब मैक्सिमम लोड जनरेशन अनबैलेंस के लिए. बट इफ low or you can say that less difference between load and generation, for that case also the frequency relay will disconnect the same amount of the load which is required for the burst operating scenario. क्योंकि इनकी जो relay की settings है we cannot change in a real time. Okay, they are fixed. Once we have set the relay for a particular value and we decided that much of load will be disconnected for this value of the frequency decrease, that will be fixed. Okay, that will not change. Okay, so these schemes are not adaptive. Okay, they are fixed, and in these schemes always maximum load is disconnected from the system as required to maintain stability. Okay, and also the programmable logic controller based load setting scheme is also there, in which we set the generation and load. Okay, and the breaker position, generator status, power flow. We continuously monitor the power flow. Okay, but they are also designed for the worst operating condition. Okay, the load setting is initiated based on the breaker position, which is monitored by the PLC system, the total demand versus number of generator online, and detection of under frequency conditions. Now, adaptive load setting technique, these were the conventional load setting. Now we discuss about the adaptive load setting. Adaptive load setting technique, basically we use a df by dt relay, rate of change of frequency relay we use for the load setting initiation. Here we can see in equation 1, df by dt is the rate of change of frequency. It depends on PD. PD is a difference between load and generation. It is the difference between load and generation. So whenever there is a huge amount of load generation balance, then there will be a rapid frequency change. And we can say that it is inversely proportional to the inertia of the system. You can see here H is the equivalent inertia. F0 is the initial frequency. So we can also say that you can say that the frequency variation is also depends on the pre-fault operating condition. F0 is the frequency which is before the abnormal or fault condition. So this technique is also you can say that it is not also accurate, as compared to the computational intelligence based adaptive load setting technique. Now we will come on the computational intelligence based load setting technique. So the practical load setting system, we know that it acts in a real time, because we have to maintain load and generation balance in a real time. So the system must operate in real time and it must also be fast. So the load setting system should adopt itself with new conditions. New condition means new operating condition. So as and when the load and generation changed, the system must also adopt this change. आपने देखा रिले बेस्ड लोड सेटिंग टेक्निक में रिले सिस्टम के जो रियल टाइम पैरामीटर है, दे आर नॉट बॉदरिंग अबाउट दैट. Once you have set the setting of the relay, once you define the setting of the frequency, they will operate according to that. They do not see the what is the generation in present, what is the connected load in present. They will just monitor the frequency of the system and will issue the tripping signal if the frequency go below the set value. But in case of computational intelligence based adaptive technique, they will continuously monitor the what is the actual generation of the system in present, what is the connected load, what is the spinning reserve, what is the other condition of the system. Accordingly, the operating condition of the system, they will act. So this is the benefit of the computational intelligence based techniques. So we can classify the computational intelligence based techniques as neural network, genetic algorithm, particle sum optimization algorithm, fuzzy logic. All these type of intelligent techniques are utilized in the literature. You can see in the literature, all these type of techniques are utilized for the load setting operation. Now, how the intelligence-based load setting technique work? So to design the adaptive and intelligent technique, first we have to generate knowledge base. Suppose if we take an example of artificial neural network technique. So in artificial neural network technique, what we have to do, we have to train artificial neural network. So for the training and testing purpose of the artificial neural network, we have to generate database. And what will be the database? Database will be what are the input required and what is the output, desired output. So we have the data of input and output. then only we can train the artificial neural network and we can utilize it in a real time. So database generation is very much important in case of artificial intelligence technique. Okay, configuration of the technique, like suppose artificial neural network hai ya fuzzy logic based hai ya PSO hai, we have to configure that. Okay, so ANN configuration, then execution of the load setting. So in these three parts we can divide the adaptive and intelligent technique. So to generate database for the training and testing purpose, evaluation of industrial network, or you can say that distribution system, is important. Okay, so evaluation means power system analysis. Okay, power system studies are required to evaluate the performance of the system. Only then we will be able to make a database for the training and testing purpose. So power system studies are required. So what types of power system studies basically required for the database generation? First and for most important is load flow analysis. Okay, by load flow analysis for different operating scenario, we can have the data about the generation, load, losses in the system, voltage in the system, branch losses, power flow in a different branches. So all these information we can gather with the help of load flow analysis. We have to perform short circuit analysis so that we will be able to determine that what will be the voltage whenever the fault occurred in the system, what will be the frequency. Okay, we have to perform transient stability analysis also. Okay, on the basis of transient stability analysis only we can design the load setting technique. Okay, the relay based load setting technique is also depends on the stability analysis. Okay, we have to create a worst operating scenario. We have to determine the system parameter for that operating scenario, suppose frequency and voltage. Then only we will be able to decide the setting of the relay. Okay, so the system analysis is required. And for the load setting design, the system frequency response analysis is important. Okay, we have to set the frequency limits to design load setting techniques. Okay, we have to determine optimum amount of load setting based on the system frequency response and frequency stability analysis. Okay, we have to develop ANN based optimum and adaptive load setting techniques for the stability of the islanded system. Okay, now here I'm going to give some overview about the present techniques, their merits and demerits. As we have seen the breaker interlock load setting scheme, so in that what we do, generally we hardwired the load and a critical circuit breaker. Okay, critical circuit breaker is a utility circuit breaker. But what is the demerit which we have discussed? Load setting based on the worst case scenario. Okay, because we have decided what amount of the load will be disconnected depends on the worst operating case. Okay, only one stage load setting is possible. Okay, because we have interconnected utility breaker and load breaker. So whenever the utility breaker is disconnected, load circuit breaker will be instantaneously disconnected. Okay, modification to the system are costly, because when we modify the system we have to redesign the network again. Okay, but the advantage of this technique is it is a fastest load setting technique. Without any delay or without any process, we disconnect the load from the system. Okay, under voltage relay based load setting is also there. Okay, it depends on the variation of the voltage. Okay, but the voltage deviation with respect to generation loss is less as compared to the frequency. We all know that the voltage is related to the reactive power balance of the system, and the frequency is related to the active power balance of the system. Okay, so under voltage based load setting is not much effective. Okay, under frequency relay based load setting, there is a problem of slow response. Okay, in current incorrect and excessive load setting always will be there. Okay, because we designed this load setting technique for the worst operating. Worst operating means for the maximum load and generation unbalance. Okay. Our focus is on the artificial neural network based load setting. Okay, it is accurate and speed depends on the data acquisition and monitoring system. Okay, because we know that once the artificial neural network is trained and tested, its speed depends on only the how fast we are giving input to the neural network, because there will be no process time. Okay, no accountable process time. It is very fast. Okay, so its accuracy depends on the data acquisition system. Okay, and optimum amount of load setting is depends on transient stability analysis. Obviously, how accurate we have generated database. Okay, knowledge based generation, which we have discussed earlier. Okay, how accurate we have collected the information for training and testing purpose of the neural network, its accuracy depends on that. Okay, how accurately you have analyzed the system, how accurately you have prepared input and output for the training and testing purpose of the artificial neural network. Okay, so the computational intelligence based adaptive load setting techniques depends on the accuracy of the system analysis, and the speed of this technique depends on the data acquisition or monitoring system speed. Okay, also collected some information about the under frequency load setting and intelligent load setting scheme. Okay, and compared these scheme like under frequency load setting is an economic solution to the frequency stability challenge. Okay, because these type of scheme not required much infrastructure. Okay, they are suppose relay based load setting scheme, we have to only apply we have to only use the relay for the load setting. Okay, but in a intelligent load setting scheme, we have to establish monitoring system, we have to establish data collection system, then we have to process that data, and we have to use a fast machine in which the artificial neural network is installed. Then we have to install a fast processing system. Okay, so these are the costly system as compared to the under frequency relay based load setting, but the system is much accurate and adaptive. Okay, there is no great loss of the load. Also, there is some other classification. Okay, so to generate database, we have to perform system studies. I have presented some results of the system studies. I have taken this system for the testing of the artificial neural network, or to design the artificial intelligence based load setting technique and conventional load setting technique. Here you can see this is basically the system of Bina refinery. I think you people have heard about the Bina refinery, petrochemical refinery. They have their own generators. Okay, they have their co-generation plant, because they generated steam for the process of the petrochemical जो भी petrochemical जो भी है उनकी process के लिए they required steam. The same steam is utilized for the generation of power. They have their own generation of 60 megawatt. Okay, and they are drawing mismatch of load and generation from the utility grid. Okay, whatever the requirement which is not fulfilled by their own generation, they draw that power from the utility grid. Here you can see that the different substations, like you can see the substation SS1, SS2, there are 14 substations. Okay, and the configuration or configuration of the system inside the substation I have presented in inside the dotted line. There you can see there is a transformers load. Okay, so this is basically the industrial system okay, on which the designed load setting is tested, or you can say that how we can design the load setting, we will see for this system. Okay, so here the load of the different substations are represented. Here you can see the load on a different substation, and in the figure you can see the excitation system and governor system. Okay, so the excitation system, basically what is the role of this excitation system? Excitation system is utilized to control DC current, or you can say that excitation to the generator. Okay, so the excitation system will be responsible to manage reactive power balance in the system. Okay, as the exciting current or DC current to the field winding change, reactive power output of the generator will change. We know that. Okay, हमने ये पढ़ा हुआ है machine में. Okay, so the excitation system will be responsible to manage the reactive power balance of the system, and the governor system is responsible to manage frequency of the system. Okay, so active power balance will be maintained by using governor. Okay, but governor is not you can say that is sufficient to maintain the active power balance. Okay, because whatever the mechanical power we are available, okay, we have whatever the mechanical power we have, we can generate electrical power according to that. Okay, we have limited mechanical power input. Mechanical power input is given with the help of turbine, okay, which is driven by the steam. Okay, this governor is only change the speed. Okay, input of the steam is changed with the help of this governing system, and it works with, on the basis of the frequency of the system. Okay, so the governor will vary the mechanical input power according to the load demand, but limited range. Okay, but in a limited range. Okay, beyond the limit of this governor or mechanical power will be managed by the load setting system. Okay, if there is a greater amount of the connected load, okay, then we have to separate it. Okay, इतना mechanical power input हम provide नहीं कर सकते, limited है. So whenever there is a huge mismatch between load and generation, we have to separate the load. For that, we require load setting technique. Okay, so here you can see the different operating scenarios. Okay, for which the load, and actually we have to analyze all possible operating conditions. Okay, because we know that ANN will act according to their training. Okay, for the range of input you trained the ANN, so that range only it will give accurate output. Okay, अगर हमने एक particular range के लिए ANN को trained किया है, उसी range of unknown input के लिए ANN accurate output देगा. ऐसा नहीं है कि आप ANN को 1 to 10 input के लिए trained कर रहे हैं और आप उसमें 50 का input दे रहे हैं और आप चाहते हैं कि उसका output accurate आए. नहीं, आप जब 1 to 10 के बीच में कोई unknown input देंगे तभी वो उसके लिए output accurate देगा. Okay, so we have to analyze all the possible operating scenario. So we have to prepare the database for the training of the ANN accurately. ठीक है, because accuracy of the artificial neural network depends on the accuracy of the training. ठीक है, कितना accurately आपने उसको trained किया है, किस range of input output के लिए आपने उसको trained किया है, उसकी accuracy उस पे depend करेगी. So we have to have all the possible operating scenarios. Okay, so these are the operating scenarios for which the system studies are determined. Okay, so for we have seen that the single line diagram. Here we can see the utility power supply is available at 33 kV. We have integrated the generator and utility system for the 33 kV voltage level. and the power is distributed at 33 kV, and further step down for the 6.9 kV, and further distributed, and the load are connected at different voltage level. This is actual system of Bina refinery. Okay, here you can see the actual power distribution system of the Bina refinery, and they are having SCADA based load shedding and under frequency relay based load shedding. Okay, they do not have artificial intelligence based load shedding. Okay. Here in this diagram you can see the load flow results. Okay, so consider that generators are supplying 19 kilowatt load, 19 megawatt generation. Okay, they are contributing 19 megawatt per generator. There are 3 generators. The rest amount of the power is drawn from the utility. Here you can see the utility grid also supplying the power. Okay, so for the different operating scenario and different combination of load and generation, this table is presenting the contribution of power of the low generator in plant generator and utility grid. Okay, for the different operating scenario, the generation is different and the power which is drawn from the utility grid is different. Okay, losses of the system will be different. Okay, we have analyzed the system for the different load demand and prepared the database. Okay, for training and testing purpose of ANN. Okay, also performed short circuit analysis. The short circuit analysis is performed to determine the voltage of the system when the fault occurred. Okay, so we have to have the values of the system parameter under the operation of fault condition. These are the results of a short circuit analysis. This is how we represent the result of the system for the short circuit analysis. Here you can see we have to represent the maximum amount of the current, minimum amount of the current, and rated short circuit current, because these minimum and maximum both parameters are important. Okay, so what is the application of the maximum fault current? What is the application of minimum fault current? Actually, to decide the rating of the network component, we required maximum fault current, which will flow through the system. Okay, our component which we have selected must be capable to handle that much of maximum current. And the minimum fault current value is utilized to set relays. Okay, because the relay must sense the minimum amount of the fault current and must respond for that also. ठीक है, रिले जो है वो मिनिमम फॉल्ट करंट पे भी ऑपरेट होना चाहिए. ठीक है, और जो सिस्टम के कंपोनेंट है दैट मस्ट be able to bear maximum amount of the fault current. So we have to perform the short circuit analysis to determine minimum and maximum value of the fault current. Now the transient stability analysis is performed. Okay, for the different fault contingency in the industrial system. Okay, to generate the database. मैं इसमें ज़्यादा डिटेल में नहीं बता रहा हूँ. I'm just give you overview of this stability, because stability analysis is important to generate database. We can classify the power system stability in this particular manner. We can classify it as angular stability, frequency stability, voltage stability. Okay, and these stabilities further classified as shown in the figure. We all have studied this, so I'm not explaining it in detail because I think we have limited time. क्या कितने बजे तक का टाइम है? 3:30 ना? Dwivedi sir? Anybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I have considered the different types of fault. Okay. the system and perform the transient stability analysis. Okay, like the fault at a different location of the system. As we have seen in a single line diagram, we have seen that the different voltage level are there: 33 kV, 6.6 kV, 415 volt. These are the different voltage distribution voltage level in the system. So I have considered the fault in every voltage level of the system and determined the parameters. Okay. Here you can see the voltage variation for the three-phase fault on the 33 kV incomer. Okay, 33 kV incomer means the supply which is coming from the utility. Here we can see that whenever the fault occurred in a 33 kV system, we created the fault here. As you can see, the voltage is 0. Okay, and the fault is cleared by disconnecting the utility. Okay, so this is the voltage for the fault in a 33 kV system incomer. Here you can see the frequency. Okay, so after clearing the fault, the frequency will be normal. Okay, here you can see the generator power angle, oscillation, frequency variation for the three-phase fault on the 33 kV switchgear bus. Okay. Now, as we discussed that whenever the fault occurred in the system, induction motor output will also vary. Okay, the mechanical power output of the system will vary for the different fault and different fault duration also. As the fault duration increases, okay, the output of the motor will decreases. Here you can see with these diagram. So we want that the fault must be separated as soon as possible, and load generation balance must maintain. Okay, so that for that we require fast load shedding technique and fast protection system. Okay, these are the results for the you can see that the results for the 6.6 kV fault. Okay, the fault on the 6.6 kV distribution system. Here you can see in case of the 33 kV system, the voltage was 0. Okay, when the fault occurred in a 33 kV system, voltage become 0. But in case of the fault which occurred in a 6.6 kV system, the voltage is not 0. Okay, it is around 50% of the rated voltage. Okay, and the frequency deviation is also less as compared to the fault which occurred on the 33 kV system. So why it is like this? Because the fault which occurred near to the generator is more severe as compared to the fault which occurred far from the system generator. Okay, ये हमको पता है कि अगर फॉल्ट जनरेटर के पास होता है तो बहुत क्रिटिकल होता है और उसका जो इफेक्ट है वो सिस्टम पे बहुत ज्यादा होता है. ठीक है, बिकॉज द इम्पीडेंस बिटवीन द फॉल्ट एंड जनरेटर इज स्मॉल. ओके, एज द फॉल्ट occurred far from the generator, its effect will be less. ठीक है, so we have to study the system for all type of faulty condition and prepare the database for training and testing purpose of the ANN. Okay, here we can see in case of the fault occurred on a 415 volt or 433 kV system. Here you can see the voltage not much varied. Okay, it is about 92% of the rated voltage, and frequency is also within the value. So when the fault occurred in a 415 volt distribution level voltage level, then its effect will be minimum. Okay, so we have to prepare the database, so our ANN will be capable to identify what will be the severity of the fault. Okay, we have to train the network so that it can understand the severity of the fault. But any other conventional load shedding technique, they will not understand the severity of the fault. Okay, because the severity of the fault also affect the operation of the system. Okay, now here we can see that the frequency of the system. Okay, utility, industry utility interconnected bus voltage we can see, and correspondingly the variation of the output of the induction motor. Okay, now here you can see the variation of the frequency for the different operating scenario when utility grid is disconnected. Okay, so it is not same for all the cases. Okay, these all the cases have different amount of the load generation mismatch. Okay, so for the different load and generation mismatch, the frequency variation will be different. Okay, so but what happened in case of the conventional load setting technique, they will not understand that what is the operating scenario. Okay, they will not consider the present operating condition. Okay, so we know that if operating condition changes, the variation of parameter like frequency and voltage will change. So our protection system, our load setting system must operate according to the present operating condition. Okay, pre-fault and post-fault condition of the system. So I'm not going in the detail of the islanding protection design. Here I have presented that how the islanding is created. Okay, how we design islanding protection. Okay, how we deployed the relays under voltage, under frequency, over voltage, over frequency relay for the protection of the system from the utility fault. Okay, that is called islanding protection. Okay. So after the islanding, you can see in the figure 4.22, the frequency of islanding industrial system. Okay, here we can see the frequency for the scenario 6, in which only one industrial generator is in operation, is the severe variation of the frequency, because in plant generation is smaller as compared to other operating scenario. In a scenario 1 and 2, all the 3 generators are in operation, and in the operating scenario 6, only one generator is in operation. So when the only one generator is in operation, inertia, equivalent inertia of the islanded system will be low. ठीक है, क्योंकि equivalent inertia कम हो जाएगा, 2 generator operation में नहीं है तो, and also the load generation unbalance will be maximum. So for this operating scenario, the frequency deviation is greater as compared to other operating scenario. So this is the burst operating condition, operation scenario 6. Okay. Now actually the under frequency load setting or load setting protection is designed to protect the system from the under frequency operation. Because if the frequency of the system is low, then what will happen? It will affect the performance of the system. As we know that output of the motors will reduce if the frequency is reduced. Okay, in case of the transformer, there may be a chances of saturation, because if the frequency reduces, okay, then flux will increase. Okay, so when flux increases, then the generator and motor may get saturated. Okay, so there is a limit of operation of under the under frequency condition of the equipment. So we have to protect the equipment from under frequency operation. Okay, so here you can see this is the particular under frequency generation tripping characteristic. Okay, so generator must not operate below this. Suppose here you can see a dark line, okay, which is at 47 hertz. So below that frequency for the particular time, suppose 3.3 seconds, if the generator will, we want to operate the generator, we can operate it for this less amount of frequency for this particular time only. If the time increases, we have to separate equipment from the system. Okay, for that we have to design load setting technique. This is the particular operation restriction of the generator for the under frequency operation. Now the frequency stability analysis is performed to determine the system frequency. Okay, this is the SRF model of the single machine. On the here del P is the mismatch in power, and del omega is the change in frequency. So as we have to analyze the system frequency response for every possible mismatch between load and generation. Okay, so we will have the frequency deviation for each and every amount of mismatch in load and generation. Then only we will be able to design under frequency protection or load shedding protection. This is the system frequency response analysis. Here we can see the different equation. This 5.5 equation is important because it is showing the relation between difference in load generation, okay, and the change in frequency. Okay, so as the difference increases, change in frequency will increases. Okay, so we have to reduce this change, we have to reduce this difference in load and generation. So to reduce the load and generation unbalance, we have to initiate load shedding. Okay, so design performance criteria for under frequency load shedding scheme. Okay, we have to perform system frequency response analysis, and on the basis of the system frequency response analysis, we have to design load shedding technique. Okay. Now, here we have considered different generation range. Okay, here the load shedding calculation has been performed for the total in-plant generation, total plant load, and utility power import, which is considered to vary between जो in-plant generation है वो 19 to 60 के बीच में vary करेगा. Okay, 19 means only one generator in operation. 60 means all the generators are in operation with the full rating. Okay, the load hai that varies between a 60 to 80 megawatt, and the power which is taken from the utility vary from 10 to 50 megawatt. So this is the range for which we have configure ANN inputs. Okay, for this range only we trained the artificial neural network, and the system will efficiently and accurately work for the range of these parameters. If the load will vary between 60 and 80 megawatt, in plant generation vary 19 and 60 megawatt, the accuracy of the artificial neural network will be high. Okay, and the frequency which we targeted is between 49.5 hertz to 50.5 hertz range. Okay, so here you can see the different parameters of the system. Now artificial load shedding technique. Okay, so to design artificial neural network technique, we have considered the inputs to the ANN, which are total power generation. Actually, we have to design what should be the parameter which we will give input to the artificial neural network. Okay, so how we can decide what will be the parameter or what will be the inputs we give to the ANN? We have to give much related inputs. Okay, आउटपुट और इनपुट के बीच में ऐसे कौन से पैरामीटर हैं जो बहुत ज्यादा आउटपुट से रिलेटेड हैं? Here the output is what? Load shedding amount. Okay, so what is the parameter which will be related to the load shedding amount? We have to give as an input to the artificial neural network. Here we have considered total power generation, okay, total load demand, total load generation mismatch at islanding, total spinning reserve, and frequency decay rate. Okay, these are the parameters which are considered as an input parameter to the neural network. Okay, and the output, the minimum amount of the load shedding, okay, which is determined for the particular operating condition, is considered as a output of the ANN. Okay, so the under frequency relay based load shedding scheme has been designed and compared with the ANN based load shedding scheme. Okay, to design artificial neural network, as we discussed, we have to have यूजर डिफाइंड नॉलेज बेस मीन्स जो डेटा बैंक है हमको चाहिए फॉर द training and testing purpose of artificial neural network. We have to create that. Then we have to configure ANN. Configure ANN means we have to decide what should be the input to the artificial neural network, what will be the output of the neural network. Okay, so by selecting total power input PT, total implant generation which is PZ, total spinning reserve, total demand and frequency declared as a input to the ANN, minimum amount of the load setting is determined. Okay, these are the variation. You can see here 19 to 60 megawatt variation in a power generation we have considered. Okay, in the range of spinning reserve 0 to 6,000 kilowatt spinning reserve variation we have considered. Total जो demand है which we have considered 13 to 48 megawatt. Okay, and frequency variation 0.45 to 3.7 hertz per second variation of frequency we have considered. These are the range of inputs which we have considered for the training and testing purpose of the ANN. Okay, so just a minute please. Hello. अरे लेक्चर चल रहा है, मैं लगाता हूँ आपको. Okay. So this is the particular ANN configuration which I have considered. Here we can see there is a 3 layers: input layer, hidden layer, output layer. At input layer we have giving the inputs which we have considered as a PG generation power, PS spinning reserve, PT total demand. Okay, PT total power transported from the or imported from the grid. dF by dt is the change of frequency, and PDLS is the amount of load which is required to SAD. Okay, which will be calculated by the artificial neural network. Here you can see there are different weights and biasings which we have to set for this artificial neural network. Okay, so ANN is a flexible mathematical structure which is capable of identifying complex non-linear relationship between input and output data set. Here, the totally non-linear relationship between the input which we are supplying to the input layer of the ANN and output of the output layer of the ANN. There is no linear relation. हम ऐसा नहीं कह सकते कि इतना ये अगर inputs हैं तो this should be the output. Okay, so we have designed the artificial neural network. Backpropagation algorithm is presented here. The multi-layer feed-forward neural network using backpropagation training algorithm is established neural network in pattern recognition application. Basically here, what is the type of the technique? We are recognizing pattern. Okay, there is a certain pattern between input and output. Okay, so we are training the ANN for that particular pattern. Okay, here we have considered PN is the input samples. Input samples are formed like this. We create the database in Excel. Okay, the columns of that database are PG, PS, PT, PD, and dF by dt. These are the columns, input columns. For different operating condition, there will be a different value of these vectors. Okay, and the output is represented by Q, and actual output is expressed as ANN. Okay, so this sigmoidal purely activation function is considered for hidden layer and output layer. Okay, this is all the mathematical derivation for the artificial neural network. I think this all you have studied in this particular course. Okay, I'm not going in much detail of this. This is the regression plot of ANN output with LMDP training algorithm. Okay, so here we can see the actual target. Okay, because we know that we have performed all the stability analysis, and we know that what should be the load which should be disconnected from the system. That is called target. Okay. And there will be one output which we will get from the artificial neural network, and we compare the target and the output which is coming from the artificial neural network. On the basis of that, we determine the accuracy of the artificial neural network. And now this is how we can implement this artificial neural network in a real time for the load setting purpose. Here you can see this all will be done with the help of SCADA and server. In a SCADA server, we install the artificial neural network software, and we will give the inputs in a real time, and whatever the output we will get from the artificial neural network, which will be processed, and on the basis of the priority of the load which we have decided to disconnect, will be disconnected with the help of the tripping signal will be provided to the circuit breaker. Here you can see the schematic. This is how we can implement the artificial neural network in a real system. And I have compared this artificial intelligence based load setting with the conventional load setting system. Okay, in a conventional load setting system, how we can determine the amount of the load which will be disconnected from the system. This is how. This is the equation. 6.21 is the equation by which we can determine the amount of the load set, which will required for a particular operating scenario. Okay. Here, basically the relay-based load setting technique. In the relay-based load setting technique, we decide the load which will be disconnected in a step. Okay, step 1, step 2, step 3. 3-step load setting basically adopted in a under frequency relay-based load setting technique. Okay, with the time delay. Okay, so in a particular step, we have to define a particular value of the frequency. Okay, suppose when the frequency reaches to the 49.5 value, 49.5 hertz, then the first step will be activated and 40% of the load will be disconnected. Whenever the frequency reaches to the 49.2 hertz value, step 2 will be activated and 30% of the load will be disconnected from the system. Similarly, for the step 3, when the frequency reaches to 48.8 hertz, the third step will be activated and the load will be disconnected. Here you can see the comparison. In case of the artificial neural network based load setting, the frequency deviation is very low and accurate. If we use under frequency relay based load setting, then what will happen? The relay will wait up to what time the frequency reaches to the particular value of the which is set in the relay. Suppose हमने रिले में सेटिंग दिया 49.2 हर्ट्ज, तो जब तक 49.2 हर्ट्ज वैल्यू नहीं पहुंच जाएगी फ्रीक्वेंसी की, तब तक स्टेप 2 एक्टिवेट नहीं होगा. द रिले विल वेट till 49.2 hertz frequency and it will further wait for the 1 second because it is a time delay which is provided. Then only the step 2 will be activated and load setting will be initiated. So in this case, the frequency will go up to 48.5 hertz. Here you can see. For the same conditions, the frequency will be stable in particular operating range. The frequency की normal operating range है 49.5 hertz. So the frequency will be maintained in that time only. Okay, this is the comparison for the different operating scenarios in terms of the amount of the load which will be disconnected. For the scenario 1, we can see that if we use a relay-based load setting, then 24,955 kilowatt load have to be disconnected. But in case of ANN, only 18,809 kilowatt load is required to disconnect, and the stability of the system will be maintained. So here we can see that less amount of the load is required to disconnect if we use artificial neural network based load setting technique or intelligence load techniques. Okay, so these techniques are efficient, okay, as compared to the conventional load setting techniques. So if you people have any query, you can ask. Anyone have any question?